Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you guys can guess, today's video is the third take on the Valentine's Day inspired makeup looks. This is the one we got going on today. A lot more bold, a lot more dark, and a lot more intense and kind of like sultry, if that's a good word for it. I really wanted to do this one because I kind of liked how I did 3 different versions, types, levels of different Valentine's Day makeups, but this one is a lot more eye makeup oriented, and let me tell you, it took me a minute. It's a lot of blending. This eyeshadow look was not necessarily the easiest to do. I had to try a new technique, and I actually had to practice this makeup look once before I sat down to film it because I was kind of scared, but I really wanted to do it, and I really like the way it turned out. Even these like red orange colors with blue eyes is just like in your face. So I think it looks so pretty. Also, I got a haircut and we're still trying to figure out what to do with it. It's like in the phase of like not behaving because we're getting to know each other. So just ignore it, but I really like it. I think it's cute and I love how it's like all big and puffy. Like I just love big puffy hair, but we're working together to listen and behave. But I do have a couple videos that are like pre-recorded, so it's gonna go from like short hair, long hair, short hair, long hair probably, which is a little weird. Just ignore that. In the future, just ignore it. I did today's makeup look using the Jaclyn Hill palette because I needed these beautiful red orangey shades. Another good palette that you could use is like the Morphe 35O or the Morphe 35O2 palette. Those would both be awesome, but this was really the only palette I had that had these really pretty orangey red colors. So that's why I needed to use that palette today. And if you want to see how I got this red orange sultry eye for Valentine's Day, then just keep on watching. Alright, so to begin this makeup look, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and I'm going to use this to carve out my eyebrows and use it kind of as an eyeshadow base or an eyeshadow primer, just so all the colors that come next really stand out and really pop and are very vibrant. Also, just to give you guys a little heads up, I'm a little sick and under the weather, so I'm so sorry if my voice is raspy and disgusting. And then I'm just going to make sure this is covered everywhere, and then I'm just going to use my beauty sponge to dab it all in and make sure that there's not any extra product on my eye space. Once I have the concealer laid down, I'm going to go into my Profusion Contour palette, and I'm going to take that matte banana powder shade, and I'm just going to put this all over my eye area, making sure that all the concealer is set and down into place. And to begin, I'm going to go in with the shades Roxanne and Jax. I'm just going to use a mixture of those. And this is where this technique is a little bit different than how I do almost any other of my eyeshadow looks. But normally I start with a transition color and I work my way down to the darkest. But for this makeup look, I decided to pack on the colors onto my eyelids first, just because if I did it in the reverse order, I noticed that I tend to put these darker shades too high and the eyeshadow look just got way too crazy. So I decided to do it this way to give it myself a little bit more control. You can really do it either way, and you just have to figure out which way is most comfortable for your eyelid and your eye shape. But for me, this worked out really well. Now I'm going to go in with a more domed, fluffy blending brush. Either the Morphe R37 is great for it, but I just grabbed this random Too Faced one. And I'm going to grab the shades Butter and Pukey. I'm just going to mix those, but I am using this in a very controlled way, and I'm not blowing everything out too crazily right now. I'm just trying to diffuse the line between my crease region and where these red colors are. So I'm just lightly going over everything slowly and not going too crazy too quickly. Now I'm going to grab this Morphe M513, which is another fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to take the shades Pooter and Made for Each Other, and this is where I'm going to start fluffing things into my crease a little bit more, but I'm going to build it up very gradually and slowly, just so everything doesn't get too crazy and too dark at once, but we can just build up the intensity as we go. For this, I like to do this very slow, like I said, and then step back and take a look just so you can like watch your process as it's happening. And I think it's easiest to do windshield wiper motions, little circular motions until you lay down your product all where you like it and you like the intensity of how it's looking. Once you are satisfied with how the crease is looking and all of that, I'm going to go back in and pack those shades, Roxanne and Jax, on my lid again, because since we did all the blending in the crease area, we kind of blend away that intensity on the lid. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer those back on so the lid is nice and bold again. Now I'm going to grab my Morphe R37 again and do the same thing with the shades Pukey and Butter and just diffuse that line where the lid and the crease meet. And once again, going back into my Morphe M513 brush, and I'm going to go back in with Butter and Made for Each Other, and I'm going to work that in the upper crease again. So basically, we are just repeating the same steps as we did that first time and just darkening it up. Once we are satisfied with where it is looking again, I'm going to go in with the shade Chip on my Morphe M506, and I'm just going to wiggle this in that outer corner. Although I want the lid to all be matte and the same, I do want to add a little bit of darkness and dimension to that outer corner. Then I decided I need a little bit more of a denser brush, so I'm just switching over to my Morphe M411 brush, and I'm going to still go in with that shade Chip, and I'm just going to wiggle this on the outer corner just to give my lid a little bit more dimension and shape to it. I'm not bringing this high or into the crease at all. I'm just keeping it low and on that very outer third corner. And now I'm going to go over it one more time with my Morphe R37. This look is a lot of going back and forth between the same colors and the same brushes, but you just kind of got to layer everything up slowly until you're happy with the intensity that it's at. Now I'm going to take that Profusion Contour palette and I'm just going to grab a little bit of that yellow banana shade, and I'm just going to use this to give my brow bone a matte highlight. And just in case you went too high with those crease colors, this kind of helps as your like eraser shade and just kind of blur everything out and make it lighter. And then I'm also just going to put this on the inner corner and kind of up in that inner third part of my crease just to make sure nothing gets too crazy or too dark. Now I'm going to mix the shades Hunts and Roxanne because I really wanted to bring some bright, fiery orangeness to it. So that's why I added Hunts to it this time. And I'm also going to layer those on the lid one last time. I know this seems repetitive, but if you do it this way and do it nice and slow, I promise you the results will be worth it. You just got to be patient. Last time blending with my Morphe R37, making sure that your crease is seamless and that you're happy with how everything is blending. You want it to look like a very gradient sunset on your eyelid. Now I'm just grabbing a makeup wipe just to wipe away any fallout that may have came down on my under eye region. And then I'm also going to wipe it all the way out to the outside, kind of making a sharp line. It doesn't need to be too precise or anything. You just need to be really careful to make sure you don't wipe away that whole outside work that you just did. Once I am done removing all the excess makeup, I just like to dab over it with my makeup sponge just so the makeup remover residue doesn't disturb the makeup I'm about to put on top of it. I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Hangover RX primer. This is my favorite primer. It is so moisturizing and hydrating. It smells like coconuts. It's so yummy. And then I'm also going to dab a little bit of this Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer just in my T-zone to smooth out my pores and my fine lines. I've also talked about this primer a lot. It is so smooth and satisfying, and it just gives your skin the most beautiful base underneath foundation. Then for today's foundation, I'm going to mix a little bit of my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 125 and my NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Light 4.5. So I'm just going to mix up those two together, and then I'm going to dab it in with my Morphe Beauty Sponge. You guys have seen me do this a million times, but it is really important to make sure that you are just dabbing and pushing the product into your skin. Don't really wipe around or drag the product around. You really want to dab and push it into your skin. Just going to put a little bit more on my cheeks for extra coverage before we go in with concealer. And of course, I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape, but I actually just recently bought the shade Light because the other shades that I was using before were a little too dark for me, so this is in the shade Light. I'm just going to put that on my under eye area, down to my cheeks, a little bit on my nose, chin, and forehead. You know the drill. Excuse my face while I put on this concealer. I seriously do not know what I'm doing, but you know, whatever. And then also one thing you really need to be sure that you are careful with is because we do have this eye makeup on already, you need to really make sure that you don't go over that outer eyeshadow look that we did. You want to make sure you follow that line and don't cover up our work, but just get right up to it so they both blend together seamlessly. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of my MAC Studio Fix powder. This is in the shade Light Plus. I recently bought this and it's seriously so beautiful. It is a really pretty finishing powder. So I'm just taking a little bit of that on my beauty sponge and I'm going to set my under eyes with it so the concealer is not wet and will not crease. And then after that I'm going to grab my big fluffy brush and just kind of set the rest of my face with it very lightly. Now it is time to bronze up the face. I don't know why I forgot to show it, but I'm using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. They have multiple ones, so make sure that you look at the label when you're buying it. But I'm using my favorite bronzer brush, which is my Morphe R7. I just want to be a little bit more tan because I'm feeling a little pale today. So I am going to go in with my NYX bronzer, which is insanely warm and insanely dark. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of this to my cheekbones and my forehead. Just going to kind of dab over everything with my sponge just to make sure that nothing is too intense or too dark. Then I'm going to grab my Wet n Wild brush, apricot in the middle. I swear I use this all the time, but it is seriously just so pretty and it works so well with every single eyeshadow look I do. And it also has a really nice shimmery sheen to it too. I'm going to go in with my Becca highlight. This is actually in the shade Moonstone. I couldn't show you the shade because mine is in shambles. I literally shattered it about a year ago, but it still works just fine. And the color is so pretty. It is the most beautiful, pale, champagne-y, white gold color. It is so pretty. So I'm just dousing my cheeks with it, putting a little bit underneath and above my brow bone, dashing a little bit on my nose and my chin because I like to be highlighted everywhere. I'm also going to toss a little bit of that same shade on the inner corner of my eyes. And I'm going to highlight my inner corners pretty intensely just because the whole eyeshadow look is matte. Now I'm going to take the shades Pooter and Pukey and I'm just going to run that on my lower lash line using my Morphe M506 brush. And now I'm taking that bigger M513 and I'm just really making sure to connect that upper and outer lower corner. You just want to make sure that that whole corner is connected very seamlessly since we did do the eyeshadow makeup first. Now I'm going to take the shades Roxanne and Jax and I'm just going to darken it up a little bit really close to my lower lash line, making sure that the top and bottom are even and thoroughly connected. And then I'm also just going to dab a little bit more right on my eyelid because you know what? I've spent all this time, I might as well make it perfect and make myself happy. And I'm going to set my face with my MAC Fix Plus. I have been addicted to this stuff lately. It is so refreshing and it is just really, really dewy on the skin, but it just makes your skin look gorgeous and sets your makeup so well. Then for the lips, I'm going to go in with this Maybelline matte lipstick in the shade Clay Crush. I love these Maybelline lipsticks so much. They are so creamy and so smooth, and this is just one of my favorite nude lipsticks I own. Then I really wanted the lip to be glossy today just because the eyes are matte. So I'm using this Dose of Colors. This is from the Desi and Katie collection. I don't know if it's still in stock, but you can seriously use any single lip gloss you own and it'll do just the same thing. All right, you guys, this is the finished look right here. How we feeling? We liking it? I'm loving it. It definitely took a lot of time. You had to be patient, blending and going a lot of like back and forth, but I think the end result is so pretty, and I just love wearing eyeshadow looks like this. I never really do because it's scary to me. I feel like people are gonna look at me and be like, why is she wearing a gallon of makeup on her face? But I don't really care. So in my free time, I love to sit down and do makeup looks like this, but most of the time I just like hop in the shower and take it off. But I love doing it for fun. So I thought I'd sit down and film it for you guys, and hopefully someone can try it out for Valentine's Day. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below which one of the Valentine's Day videos was your guys' favorite, because they're all three pretty different. We had like the cut crease, the red lip, the very soft and girly kind of like pinky one, and then we got this baby right here. So they're all a little bit different. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. And if you guys have any ideas or any suggestions for future videos or future makeup looks that you'd like to see, why don't you toss those in the comments below as well? So let's just chat, you know? Let's just chat. That is all that I have for today's video. If you like it, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's makeup look, and I hope you enjoyed this little mini series for the Valentine's Day look on my channel. And other than that, I will catch you guys very shortly. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.